So, Warlord traits. Number 1, Cold and Bitter. When a morale test is taken for friendly Iron Warriors units with 6 of this Warlord, do not roll the dice, it is automatically passed.
I want to hear what you say on this first, because I have very passionate feelings on this one.
I think it's good, but I can't... What is the Iron Warriors Legion trait? Is it a Feel No Pain?
No, it's Ignore Cover.
Okay. I mean, I think it's good, but...
I've seen a lot of sort of mediocre reviews of this one, and I think it's not the one I'd take anymore for Iron Warriors. But my most successful ever tournament list ran Cold and Bitter, and it was the star focus of it. So it was using that list to make Cultist Blobs Fearless, and it's the list I ran at Southern Glory 2018, where I went 5-0 and got max gaming.
Yeah.
Everywhere else I've seen of this trait has said it's terrible, and I get very defensive about it. But, yeah, I think this is useful only really with cultists. Chaos Marines are typically high enough in leadership where you don't care about making them fearless. The only exception being if you really want to run those 20-man Chaos Blobs. And as a pro tip, you don't want to run those 20-man Chaos Marine Blobs.
Unless you're using Red Corsairs.
I think even then, I don't think it's a good move, but one unit of them's fine.
Yeah, one unit, not like, don't kit out a whole battalion with 60 Chaos Space Marines.
Although that does sound quite funny. But
I'm not... I don't think it's bad. I appreciate how powerful automatically passing morale is when your army can take huge blobs of like 30 models.
Yeah, I think it's also
just a bit
overshadowed these days by, in particular, the next trait. But
yeah, but also in back before there was loads of like other codex releases and stuff like that, and power creep and everything, I can imagine this being super powerful.
Yeah,
nowadays though, without having a Legion trait that also buffs what you're doing, so like if Alpha Legion had this would be insane.
Yes.
Like absolutely insane. But it being an Iron Warriors, like now it's a bit like, well, yeah, they're not going to pass morale, but like they're still just cultist with a 6-up save.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate how powerful it is. I just don't think it's very good at the moment.
Yeah, it's something that I think might come back round to being interesting, but Abaddon is probably the preferred way to run a fearless blob these days for Chaos.
Yeah. So yeah, next one is Demon Smith. When resolving an attack made by a model in a friendly Iron Warriors Demon Engine or Iron Warriors Cult of Destruction unit within 6 inches of the Warlord, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit.
I like this.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Works with Obliterators. Works with Forge Fiends if you're really desperate to have those.
Yeah.
Or Defilers. Works in ranged and in melee.
Yep.
Yeah, this is probably my favourite of the new Iron Warrior traits.
Yeah, I like it. It's nice, and like I like that it's geared towards demon engines, and yeah.
Yeah, each time, think of it this way, each time an Obliterator unit shoots, you get 3 extra hits. With an 18-man, with a 3-man squad.
Yeah.
That's good. Adds up.
How many shots does a Defiler get? Not Defiler, a
Forge Fiend?
No, what's the Forge World? The weird dreadnought looking thing.
Oh, the dreadnought that's not a dreadnought.
Yeah. The one that can take twin butcher cannons. Can't remember what it's called, but
I want to say 8. I don't know if it's got the right keywords as well.
It does.
Oh, does it? Okay.
It is a demon engine, yeah, because you can buff it with the master possessions.
Okay. I want to say it's either 8 or 16.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 16 because it's twin butcher cannons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be quite good with this if you're taking a demon engine.
Yeah, and it's a aura rather than a picky unit as well, which is nice.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
So number 3, Iron Without. When this warlord would lose a wound, roll a d6 on a 5-up. That wound is not lost. Eh.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's something that affects only the warlord. Most of the time, they're protected by character. You could put this on a Lord Discordant, but and it's quite good on Lord Discordant, but I don't think. I think the other, if you're taking Iron Warriors, you're not worried about the Discordant.
Yeah.
Or yeah, the others are better. But
yeah. So number 4, Bastion. When resolving an attack made with a weapon that has an armor penetration characteristic of -1 against friendly Iron Warriors units. A friendly Iron Warriors unit that is within 6 of this warlord and receiving the benefit of cover, that weapon is treated as having an armor penetration characteristic of 0.
you know what's really common in the meta? Marines with AP2 weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a hard pass for me. It's a different meta. This could be quite decent, but as it is, no thanks.
Yeah. It is friendly Iron Warriors units that are within 6. But it's just going back to that thing again, it's just another one of those things that requires so much different criteria to be met for it to actually go off.
Yeah.
It's not something you can build around. It's not really powerful, and it's not going off all the time. So
yeah,
yeah.
So it's mediocre when it works, and it's an effort to make it work.
Yeah. So yeah, agree. Hard pass. So number 5 is Siege Master. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in a friendly Iron Warriors, Havocs, or Iron Warriors vehicle unit within 6 of this warlord, re-roll a wound roll of 1. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's essentially a limited lieutenant.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's good.
I like it. I think I prefer Demon Smith just because I don't like the Havocs or most of the vehicles.
Yeah.
But equally, if you are going Dreadnought heavy, then sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the reroll ones is a really good mechanic.
Yeah, most demon engines have the vehicle keyword as well, so it probably would apply to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, it's just all round good. Chaos don't really have that much access to reroll wound rolls of 1, so
not at range.
Yeah, so yeah, really good. Last one, number 6, Stoic Advance. Friendly Iron Warriors units do not suffer the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons whilst they are within 6 of this warlord.
This is one that I have to really try and not be bitter, which is ironic when it's about a bitter trait. Where I'm just like, Imperial Fist. Oh, sorry, Iron Hand's just getting it for free. This sort of thing. It's like, But it's a good trait. I think I prefer the. I think I typically prefer Demon Smith or Siege Master because they're always active, and this is only going to be active when you are moving and shooting.
Yep.
And there is a CP. You can still spend a CP to ignore moving and shooting on a vehicle for Chaos still.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think this is
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, this is a solid trait that's overshadowed in my book.
Yeah, I agree. I guess actually, if you look at it, this is actually a really difficult one, because let's say you're going with like a demon engine thing, right? Most of them don't ignore moving and shooting heavy weapons, so Stoic Advance would work on that.
Yep.
However, you would get exploding hits, on the roll of a 6.
Mhm.
Which how is that balanced with basically getting +1 to hit?
I feel it's essentially the same.
Yeah,
Because
and then Siege
one of your hit
Master-
rolls are generating an additional hit versus one of your hit
Yeah.
rolls generating an additional hit, essentially.
Yeah, and then Siege Master is reroll wounds rolls of 1,
Yeah.
which is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But if you took 6 shots, each one of them would ensure that you made another hit or shot, basically.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some very small nuances in
I
percentages.
think
the wound rolls of 1 is different, but yeah,
I think the wound roll on the Stoic Advance is better in that specific example, but it's not better when you're stationary. The one thing in Stoic Advance favour is it is just friendly Iron Warriors units, and it's not limited to vehicles or havocs. But equally, they're going to be pretty much the only things that have a heavy weapon, unless you're taking loads of 5-man Chaos Squads with the last cannon.
Yeah,
I don't think you're doing that.
Yeah, demon engines. Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult. I think it entirely depends on what your army composition is.
Yeah, maybe there's an army composition where it works, but
yeah, I mean, if you're taking like Forge Fiends or whatever, like Desecrators, that's what they're called.
Oh yes.
If you're taking Desecrators or something like that, then Demon Smith is probably the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you're taking a Iron Warriors vehicle heavy list, you probably want to take Stoic Advance.
I'd probably go Siege Master over it. But...
Would you?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, you're basically losing out on a hit. If you've got 6 shots and you move.
Yeah, I think that's the thing though, that I'm imagining my army being more stationary, and therefore getting more benefit out of Siege Master. But maybe if you're playing someone that you know is going to be really tricksy and hiding around corners, and you need that movement all the time, then Stoic Advance is pretty handy.
Yeah. I think we spent quite a while on this, but all 3 of them are good. They're just decent. Like, it's nice to have like a selection of good warlord traits that you can take depending on what your army composition is.
Yes.
So yeah, all in all, I think it was really good. There's a couple that are just specifically the Bastion is probably the worst one. I think Cold and Bitter is amazing, but I think it's
a specific build.
Yeah, it's a specific build, and I don't think it's that relevant at the moment. That might change, but yeah, those are the warlord traits. Let's go on to the stratagems. So Iron Within, Iron Without. It's the same one they've always had. 1 CP, use the stratagem in any phase. When a model in an Iron Warriors unit from your army would lose a wound, roll a d6 for that wound, and for each other wound that would be lost by a model in that unit at the end of the phase. On a 6, that wound is not lost. So
it's okay. It'll come up now and again where you've got a crucial unit you need to keep alive when it's on the knife edge. But I think more often than not, you probably don't activate this.
Yeah. I mean, this is so. Although we were talking about the auto pass morale warlord trait with like cultists and stuff like that, and we were saying like the Legion doesn't give you any benefit to running that. This does, however, it's nowhere near as powerful as just having a flat out Legion trait that's like a 6-up, feel no pain.
Yes.
Because if you shoot someone with this, the first thing that they're going to do as soon as the wound is lost by a model is use the stratagem, and then you go, okay, well, I'm just going to shoot everything at someone else. So it's all right. Maybe you use it like if it would prevent a game-winning like thing from happening for your opponent, but in general, I don't think you're going to be spending your CP on this a lot.
No, I agree.
So next one is Methodical Annihilation. So 1 CP, Use the stratagem in your shooting phase when an Iron Warriors unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Select one of the following effects to last until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made by a model in the unit, you can reroll the damage roll. You can reroll any, or you can reroll any or all of the dice to determine the type characteristics of weapons that model in this unit are equipped with.
I'm not so sure about this one.
No.
I like it in the fact that it is the end of the phase, so it does work with Endless Cacophony. And incidentally, I think almost all Iron Warriors are going to be Slanesh as a result. For those who aren't familiar, Endless Cacophony is you pick a Chaos infantry unit and it can shoot again at the end of the phase. And I look at this and I think reroll a damage roll is useful pretty much on las cannons, and rerolling any of the dice isn't really, for the type of weapon, isn't especially useful. Flamers and Havocs, Flamers and missile launchers, decent, but for a CP it's alright.
So the type, does that not include obliterators? Is that not what this is referring to?
Type characteristics for weapons. I think that's like if it's heavy 3 or heavy D6 or heavy D3 or whatever. So I don't think it applies to obliterator weapons. So they've got on the right they've got one that very specifically has obliterators.
Oh right, yeah. Okay.
So I don't think it's
fair enough. Yeah.
I don't believe it does.
Yeah, that's
because I think rerolling the damage roll is good as an effect, but I think the problem is the weapons that you've used to get there are things like las cannons, and you're only probably getting one of those through, maybe two if you're lucky, and therefore you can probably just save a CP to reroll the damage after the effect rather than use this one sort of preemptively. I think a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I'm just thinking of a situation where this would be applicable. My only thought is like a unit of Havocs with las cannons.
Yeah.
Then you get four of them, and yeah, obviously you wouldn't use the reroll any of the dice because it's just one shot anyway. But when resolving an attack by a model, reroll the damage. Yeah, it's pretty good, but you're
kind of front loading and hoping, really.
Yeah, you are, and you're not only front loading there, but you probably take the wall or trait that allows you to reroll ones for Havocs, so that it would be probably wounding on 3s, rerolling ones, and then you would probably then want to spend. You might spend veterans on them, and then endless cacophony. So it's a lot of CP to get something out of that.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of las cannon Havocs anyway. So
yeah, so. It seems good on paper. We might be missing something. I don't know.
It's something that is, if something gets reevaluated or has a points drop or a new unit comes out for Chaos that's very shooty, that this could suddenly become bonkers powerful. I just don't think necessarily there at the moment.
Yeah.
It isn't Iron Warriors just unit. So there may be
on anything.
There may be a Forge World unit out there that we're not thinking of that's very powerful with this. Some sort of Contemptor Dreadnought with a couple of las cannons be a lot more powerful than Havocs with the same ability.
I'm just thinking about what because the soul burners, but you can only take 2 soul burners on either a Hellforge Contemptor or a Desecrator. So even then, like 1 CP just to potentially re-roll a gun that has D3 shots.
Yeah.
So yeah. Maybe it would be good with Havocs. I don't know. Just try thinking it out. It doesn't. On paper, it looks really good, but actually, when you run through the list of things that could benefit from this, it's actually quite small.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What is that?
Dower Duty.
Dower Duty, yeah. use the says 1 CP, use the stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase or your charge phase when an Iron Warriors unit from your army is chosen as the target for an attack. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against that unit, worsen the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon by 1. So AP1 becomes AP0, etc.
This is quite good.
Use the stratagem. Yeah. Till the end of the phase.
It's a interesting way to have kind of like take cover from guard essentially.
Yeah.
But works on it doesn't work on AP dash. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't think there's much more to say on that, really.
Yeah, it's just I mean it's one of those toolbox ones, isn't it?
Mm.
If you get into a situation where it would really benefit you, then yeah, sure, go for it.
Yeah.
Is worsen a word?
Worsen a word? I assume so.
Because usually they use reduce. Usually the wording is reduce the armor penetration characteristic, not worsen. That's the first time. I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've ever seen the word worsen used in that context.
Worsen's coming up on the online Cambridge English Dictionary, so I'm assuming it's alright.
Yeah, make or become worse. Yeah, It just seems weird to me. So next one, Unholy Vigor. 1 CP, use the stratagem at the start of your movement phase. Select one Iron Warrior's vehicle from your Iron Warrior's vehicle model from your army. That model regains up to 3 lost wounds.
Yeah, this one's interesting because I think, as we said, most of the times when something gets shot, it tends to die or be alive. There's not a lot that lives in that kind of wounded space. The fact that A, this works on Lord Discordance to regenerate 4, and B, I believe this is also like ahead of the curve for like CP regeneration, because it typically tends to be 1 CP for 1 or D3 for 2, and they tend to never be used. So this is another one that goes in the not going to be used that often, but when it is, it's actually a very powerful effect for its CP.
Yeah. Iron Warriors don't have to take a Legion, specific mark, do they?
Nope, they're free to go what they want.
So, actually, apart from losing advance and charge on all of my discordance and stuff, on my list, this would actually be really good.
Yeah, because you could also, if you wanted to, you could spend a CP to take the Soul Forge pack.
Yeah, so, but not only that, but I always run a Master of Possessions with Sacrifice, so it'd be healing 6 wounds.
Better make sure you kill it dead.
Well, 7 wounds, actually, with the one that it heals itself, and then I've also got a Dark Abeyant now, so it'd heal D3 on top of that.
From 1 wound
which
12.
is crazy.
That's going to really annoy me one game against you. I'm going to get things right down to 1. And Smite cast or something, and it just backs up to full.
I'm pretty sure in the latest battle report with Dennis, I did a lot of healing on my discordance and stuff. So, yeah, let's move on to the next one. So, next one's Tank Hunters, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase or the fight phase. When you choose an Iron Warriors unit from your army, excluding Chaos Cultists, to shoot or fight with, select one enemy vehicle unit until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made by a model in that Iron Warriors unit against the selected unit, you can re-roll the wound roll.
Yeah, for 1 CP, this is just brilliant.
Yeah, that's really good.
There are loads of vehicles in the metagame still.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just great.
Yeah, that's like on a unit of like deep striking obliterators or something. That's just like.
And it works on the fight phase as well. So
yeah.
I don't know why they felt the need to exclude cultists. I think if cultists are using this, you're probably quite happy. But yeah,
that's actually really interesting. Now, again, to me, because like I'm still going to run them as Red Corsairs because they're painted as Red Corsairs, and I'm I don't want to like say, oh no, they're Iron Warriors, even though they're painted red and black and gold. But you could, with this, like specifically thinking about my Maul of Fiends and Disco Lords, you could Demon Forge one of them and then Tank Hunters another one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but like specifically the stratagem itself, yeah, it's just really good for 1 CP.
Yeah, if that was 2 CP, you'd be quite happy with that most of the time.
Yeah, if it was 2 CP, I'd still use it. Yeah. Next one is Rampant Technovirus. 1 CP. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase or fight phase when you select an Iron Warriors Obliterators or Iron Warriors Mutilators unit from your army to shoot or fight with. Until the end of that phase, you can reroll any or all the D3 rolls made for that unit's flesh metal guns or flesh metal weapons ability. Yeah, so basically what I was saying I thought Methodical Annihilation was.
Yeah, so this is really good on Obliterators. The Obliterators, you kind of... I always find I tend to never re-roll the strength and AP because I'm worried about rolling a 1 for damage and having to use my re-roll for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, having this... To front load this for the ability to re-roll multiple things is quite good.
Yeah.
Especially they've got more expensive and have more shots recently. So just more reliability on a big unit that you're putting a lot of points into.
Yeah. And also, like, they're incredibly good, like, Obliterators for what they do. But having like 3 random elements to their weapon profile, you're almost always spending a CP on it. So actually, like we were talking about Methodical Annihilation and front loading it. With Methodical Annihilation, like even though it's on all Iron Warriors units that you can use it on, there really isn't a unit that you can pick out that would benefit from this that much. However, front loading a unit of Obliterators with this is insane.
Yes.
It's good.
I don't think you use this on Mutilators ever, but
no.
Yeah.
But yeah, on Obliterators, just absolutely solid for a CP. It's really good. So next one is Cannon Fodder. It's 2 CP. Use the stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select 1 Iron Warriors infantry unit from your army, then select 1 friendly Iron Warriors Chaos Cultists unit, wholly within 6 inches of that unit. Okay, wholly within 6. Until the end of the phase, any models cannot target that Iron Warriors infantry unit if the selected Iron Warriors Chaos Cultist unit is a closer visible target.
This one's interesting because I think the effect is powerful enough to make it worthwhile, but you do have to work a lot harder for it than you do for other similar things like Grot Shield or the Aphrodite Legion one we had mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Grot Shield is just if they're in front, then that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
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 The wholly within is the key part of this.
Yeah.
If it was just within, then you'd be tempted to trail some things back, but wholly within is a bit awkward, especially if they're atop of a ruin or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too bad considering Chaos Cultists went down in points. If you want to, like, kit out a dual battalion or something, then if you wanted to take, like let's say you took like 90 cultists and then 3 units of 10, you've then got another reason for those 3 units of 10, and it's quite a powerful like ability.
Yeah. Especially if you obliterate. Well, because if the obliterators are hiding at the back and they've only got like anti-tanking range, problem with that being obliterators are quite short range. So
yeah. So actually, I think it's quite good.
Oh yeah, I think forcing your opponents to mess around is always powerful. Unlike the next stratagem, which is not powerful.
Yeah, just rereading it, just mulling it over because it's a very complicated stratagem. Another one of those ones that requires you to meet a set of criteria first before it'll even work. Yeah, so the cultists have to be wholly within 6 of the unit that you're using it on. So yeah, really you want to be just having a 10-man unit. So yeah, last stratagem is Bitter Enmity.
Yeah.
I said that right. It's 1 CP. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when an Iron Warriors unit from your army is chosen to fight with. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in that unit against an Imperial Fists unit, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. So actually, right now, this isn't that bad.
No.
Overall, it's terrible as most of these targeted faction stratagems are.
Yes. Yeah, this goes in the. If you need to use this thing, you will use this, but 99% of the occasion you won't.
Yeah. So. Okay, so we'll move on to the relics. So the first one is the Siege Breaker Mace. So model with a Power Maul or a Cursed Crozius only. This relic replaces that weapon. Ooh, that's interesting. So, okay, so it's a small weapon that has 2 profiles.
Yeah.
So you've got a swing profile, which is strength +2, which is good, AP -2, and flat 2 damage. And then you have a smash profile, which is strength ×2, AP -3, and D6 damage. And the ability is when the bearer fights using the smash profile, it can only make 2 attacks. Oh, okay. When resolving an attack made with the smash profile, roll 2d6 when inflicting damage with it and discard one of the results.
Yeah, my issue with this is just the person you'd have to put it on, which is put it on the chaplain equivalent. And
well, you could put it on a Chaos Lord because you can give them a Power Maul.
Is that a Legends option now?
Oh, actually, it might. No, it's a isn't it a Legends option for Astra Militarum? I thought.
Okay.
If you didn't only make 2 attacks with the smash profile,
yes,
it would be really good. But yeah,
Battle Scribe still got Maul as a non-Legends option for Chaos Lord, so
yeah, I think it is. I think I did see a load of people complaining about the Power Maul in Astra Militarum.
Okay.
So I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it, and if I'm not sure about it, then I don't think it's worth a relic thing typically.
Yeah, I think if you you'd be better off if you were taking a Chaos Lord with the smash and you were planning on using the smash profile, you would be better off taking a Thunderhammer.
Yeah.
The swing profile's really interesting, but even then, I think there's better options. Like even taking a Chain Lord, is better than that.
Or even the relic on its right, which we'll get to in a second. I think a better option. So
it's a really interesting relic. You could take it and you still probably do a lot of work with it, but there's probably better things to take.
Agree.
So next one is Cranium Malevolus. In your shooting phase, a model with this relic can use the Cranium Malevolus instead of shooting. Roll 1d6 for each enemy vehicle unit within 9 inches of that model. On a 4 to a 5, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds, and on a 6, that unit suffers 3 mortal wounds.
I don't like this one.
Nah.
It's a smattering of mortal wounds that even against a vehicle-heavy army is unreliable and isn't going to kill anything by itself.
Yeah, or bracket anything that's on max profile, even if you did roll a 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not a fan.
It's not a once per game thing, but no.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But... yeah, it feels like it is, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think even if you're playing someone that's like spamming Venoms, though, which is like the ideal situation for this thing, I don't think it's going to do enough quickly enough to be worthwhile.
Yeah. And you've got to be within 9 inches as well. So
yeah,
it's
probably a once per game thing.
Yeah. So next one is Insidium. A model with this relic gains the demon keyword. If it doesn't already have it, add 1 to the strength, toughness, and wounds characteristic of that model.
Yeah, I think this is well, I was going to say probably only on a print. That's probably not actually true. You could make a Disco Lord strength 7. You could make a Chaos Lord strength 5. You could then double that with the Thunderhammer. Yeah, I think this has got a lot of quite useful abilities.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. They all seem a bit sort of like a bit mediocre at the moment. So let's move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So next one is Axe of the Forge Master, model with the Power Axe or Demonic Axe only. This relic replaces the Power Axe or Demonic Axe. So it's Strength +3, AP -3, and flat 2 damage. Abilities: when resolving an attack made with this weapon against a vehicle, an unmodified hit roll of a 5+ inflicts D3 mortal wounds in addition to any normal damage.
Yeah, I quite like this one.
Yeah, that's quite nice. I like that.
Yeah, because you could take this on a Prince, although I still think you probably have the dual talent on him, possibly even with the Insidium. Yeah, I think on a Lord and the fact that it's an unmodified hit roll of 5, you can potentially get 2 of those through quite easily, and it's in addition to other damage. So yeah, I really like this one.
Strength +3, so that would take you up to
7.
Yeah, strength 7. That's a shame. It's actually a shame that it doesn't bring you up to strength 6. Because if it brought you up to strength 6, you could use the tank hunter strat to reroll all failed wounds.
It's hit rolls, not wound rolls.
Oh, hit rolls. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. It's good. The profile's good. The profile's definitely good for putting this on a Chaos Lord.
Yeah, especially if nothing else, this is just quite useful for running around and smashing Chimeras in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's just all around good. Like the ability's really good. I think with all the other rules, is there anything to reroll hits? I don't think there is there?
Not for Iron Warriors.
No. Because actually, with their stratagems, it would be better if it was an unmodified wound roll of a 5+.
Yep.
Because then if you could put it on a low strength character, you can then make it so that it only wounds on 5+, which means you can re-roll everything that fails and fish for the D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
So
but the fact that it doesn't quite a lot of these times when you hit and you trigger that mortal wounds ability, that's the end of the roll.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that this keeps on going is really nice.
Yeah, I still think it's really good.
I
think it's really good.
Yeah, I think this is why I would never take the mace. I'd always take for the axe.
Yeah, it's a good point. Okay, just all round good weapon. So let's go on to another. There's a lot of weapons here, isn't there? So the next relic is also a weapon. It's Spite Split. Spite Spitter. Model with a.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
This is almost the exact same as Viper's Teeth from the Alpha Legion.
It is, yeah. Apart from its D3 damage rather than
2.
2, yeah. So
which I think makes it worse, but
it does, yeah. So it's a combi bolter relic, 24-inch range again, rapid fire 2, strength 5, -3, D3 damage. So
yeah, I think you can pretty much copy paste what we said about the Alpha Legion one.
Yeah, although the Alpha Legion one has some very small merit with the
With the headhunter trait.
With the headhunter warlord trait. This one, however, I don't see why you would ever take this.
It's still a solid weapon on a backline character.
Yeah. So, last relic is Techno Venomous Mechatendrils, a Warpsmith model only. This relic replaces the Mechatendrils and has the following profile. So it's actually exactly the same profile as normal Mechatendrils. So Strength User, 0 AP, 1 damage. The ability is when the bearer fights, it makes 4 additional attacks with this weapon, and only 4 of those attacks can be made with this weapon.
So you can't allocate any of your original attacks to this weapon.
Yeah. Okay. That's usually isn't it on? I'm pretty sure on everything that has Mechatendrils, it just says you just make 4 additional attacks with this weapon.
Yeah, maybe
after you've already fought. So there's a lot of drilling in the wording of rules in this book, isn't there?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can only make 4 attacks with it. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, the target suffers 1 mortal wound and the attack sequence ends. Okay. That's...
This is interesting because I really like it. The fact that it's limited to Warpsmith hurts it, because you could put this on a Disco Lord, but they're already really smashy, and I'm not sure this is needed. And if you put this on an actual Warpsmith on foot, it's probably a bit slow as a melee character.
On a Hellrite, on a Dark Abeyant, they have 8-inch movement.
Okay, so you could put it on there then.
Yeah, so this isn't too bad, but I agree about the Disco Lord, although they're not as killy as you think they are when they're not run as Flawless Host.
Fair point.
So this actually, because I always consider, because when I'm running this, I'm purely talking now from the point of view if Red Corsairs had access to this. So I often find myself considering taking the Vigilus relic for the tendrils, which is you make an attack for every single model within 3 inches. Which I've considered multiple times, but I've only taken it a couple of times, and I think once it's paid off when I charged a unit of like 10 intercessors, and I managed to get into like 8 of them. I would probably take this if I had access to it.
Yeah, I think it's a solid relic that I don't think we'll see much play, because it's got to be on a Warpsmith, and I think the Warpsmiths, that things with the Warpsmith keyword that are in the meta at the moment don't make great use of it. Maybe the Hellrite, I don't have enough experience with that. But,
yeah, you don't see many of them. They're only really useful in Demon Engine armies. So the reason why I take them is because they basically have like a melter gun and a las cannon. They've got decent close combat, and they have the Warpsmith keyword. So when you cast Sacrifice on them, it heals flat 3 to another Demon Engine. And also on the Hellrite, they automatically heal 1 wound per turn. So you actually counter the Sacrifice.
That's nice.
Wound, which is it's nice. And then obviously they're a Warpsmith, so they can heal a Demon Engine anyway. So it synergizes really well in my list. But I would, if I had access to this, I would take this on a Lord Discordant any day. But then if you're looking at it from the sort of view of running a list like mine, but as Iron Warriors, you don't get that much utility out of running 3 Disco Lords. So yeah, a bit of a I think actually, to be fair, the axe is probably the best relic. Or Insidium, depending on what you're running.
Yeah, they're a bit. I don't think any of the relics are amazing.
No.
I think the warlord traits and stratagems can buff real key units and obliterators.
Yeah.
Which is how I'm planning on running my Iron Warriors. But
yeah, the stratagems are basically where the strength is in this. The stratagems are great. So like the buffing the obliterators, re-rolling wounds against vehicles. So yeah, I like it. It's good.
So
yeah, that's the Iron Warriors. Should we do our names?
Yeah, go to the name generators now. So I am Porso the Wall Breaker, which does sound like I have a bit of a weight problem, I think.
Ilux Partox.
So next up we have Emperor's Children. Their first trait, the original Codex one, is Stimulated by Pain, which is add 1 to your Warlord's attack characteristics for each wound they have suffered to a maximum of +3. If they lose the wounds, they lose the bonus attacks. Intoxicating Musk. When resolving an attack made by an enemy unit within 3 of the Warlord, subtract 1 from the hit roll. It's a weirdly specific aura. 3 inches. It feels like it should just be close combat, but it does technically apply at range as well. There's a better defensive Warlord trait in the seconds, and the fact that it's not technically melee but effectively only melee makes it weird.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, there were a couple of other Warlord traits. Well, there was one for Alpha Legion that just gave flat out -1 to hit.
So next up, we have another weirdly worded benefit one. When you choose this Warlord to fight with, you and your opponent secretly choose a number from 1 to 3 on a d6. If the chosen number differs, the Warlord can make a number of additional attacks that fight phase equal to the number you chose. So this is very similar to the Chaos Knight Titanic duel stratagem, where you probably get 2 extra attacks, but could get 3 and could get none.
Yeah.
It's
weird.
I kind of like the minigame aspect, but not when it does nothing when it's a fail. And I think the Night Lord plus D3 when you charge is just a better version of this.
Yep.
Not much more to say on that, I think.
Yeah, I think that's
It's kind of on average +2, where your opponent can probably gamble to try and stop all. But yeah. So Faultless Duelist is next. At the start of the fight phase, roll a d3. Until the end of the phase, subtract the result from the attack characteristics of enemy models to a minimum of 1 whilst they're within 1 of the Warlord. Again, I don't like this one. The next one seems a better and more reliable way of having a defensive Warlord. Reducing number of attacks is quite good against something like a Knight, but yeah, I'm still not sold on it.
Yeah.
So, next one, Glutton for Punishment. When resolving an attack against this Warlord, reduce any damage inflicted by 1 to a minimum of 1. Yeah, I think this is brilliant on a Disco Lord. So, finally, if you want a more offensive trait, Loathsome Grace. When you make a charge roll for this Warlord, you can reroll a dice. If it makes a charge move or performs a hurricane suspension, add 1 to strength and attack characteristics until the end of the fight phase.
It's pretty good.
Just a nice sort of effective melee bonus, and one I'd probably choose over Unbound Arrogance. It's more reliable and helps you get into combat rather than just being good in combat. So, yeah. Glutton for Punishment and Loathsome Grace, the two stand up there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they're very, they're quite lackluster.
So the stratagems. Combat Elixirs is first up. Select one Emperor's Children unit from your army that is not a vehicle or cultists. Select one of the following effects to apply to all models in that unit until the end of the battle. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. You can give a unit +1 attack, +1 strength, +2 move, +1 toughness. I like this. I'm probably thinking in what's a very shooty meta game, +1 toughness is the most effective.
That's what I was thinking.
But if you're playing orcs or something and you think that it's all going to be about aggression, then +1 attack on a unit is a equally valid choice. Next up, excessive violence. When you choose an Emperor's Children infantry unit from your army to fight with. Until the end of the phase, if an attack made by a model in the unit destroys an enemy model, the attacking model can make an additional attack against the same unit using the same weapon.
It's really good.
It's a good horde cleanser.
Yeah. It's a really good toolboxy thing to have.
Yeah, again, I don't think you play Emperor's Children for this stratagem.
No.
But when it comes up, it's quite nice if you need to butcher through something.
Yeah, exactly.
Next one is Incessant Disdain. Use this at the end of the opponent's charge phase. Select an Emperor's Children character model from your army. That model can perform a heroic intervention if it is within 6 of any enemy models and can move up to 6 when doing so, as long as it finishes that move within 1 of any enemy character models or the nearest enemy model. This is a nice little trick to have in the book as well.
Yep.
A lot of people sort of try and charge and stay 3.001 inches away. So having something with 6 inches either gives you a massive sort of deny bubble or just allows you to get up to shenanigans, which is always fun. Next up, a really, really good stratagem. Honor the Prince. Use a stratagem in the charge phase after making a charge roll for an Emperor's Children Slanesh unit from the army. Not sure why they have to specify Slanesh. Everything in Emperor's Children has to be Slanesh, but there we are. You can change the result of one of the d6 to a 6. Which is insane!
Yeah, that's really good.
So you can make your 9-inch charge out of Deep Strike. If one of them is a 3, hooray, you made it.
Yep.
And
if neither of them are good, you just change one to a 6 and then re-roll the other one.
Yeah. And, the fact that it's after the roll means that if you high roll, sure, great. It's brilliant. Next up, Excruciating Frequencies. Select a Noise Marine unit. Until the end of the phase, add 1 to the strength and damage characteristics of Blastmaster, Sonic Blasters, Doom Sirens in the unit. Yeah, that's another really good strategy, and 1 CP for it is a very nice cost. Blastmaster is essentially like D3 battle cannon-esque shots.
Yep.
The Doom Siren is, I believe, an AP2 flamer. Mm-hmm. Sonic Blasters are the main one because you can replace bolters with them. Yep. They're essentially an Assault 3 bolter that ignores cover.
Okay.
So you have a unit that turns into something Strength 5, AP dash, damage 2, ignore cover.
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah. And remember as well that you can double tap that unit and add veterans to the long war. So against Primaris Marines, for example, you'd be wounding them, you'd be hitting on 3s, probably rerolling 1s, wounding on 2s, and any failed saves is a dead Primaris Marine.
Yep.
I think that's... Emperor's Children Noise Marines are also troops. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you can spam these guys quite efficiently, and you're likely to have 1 unit left alive, if nothing else, even if you go second. It's a really powerful ability. Next up, Cruel Duelists. Choose an Emperor's Children unit, which isn't a vehicle or a cultist unit, until the end of the phase, and resolve any attack with a melee weapon by a model in that unit for an unmodified wound roll of a 6. You get AP 3. There aren't a lot of Emperor's Children units that have a lot of attacks.
Yeah.
Finally, Tactical Perfection. Use the stratagem before at the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins. Select an Emperor's Children unit from your army. Remove that unit from the battlefield and set it up again following the usual deployment rules if you're a transport and units embarked upon it remain so. Really good. 1 CP's nice.
Yeah, it's good.
So onto the artifacts. First one is Endless Grin, which you can probably safely skip, but it's when a morale test is taken for an enemy unit within 6, your opponent must roll an additional d6. You can choose one of them to be discarded. Subtract 1 from the leadership characteristics of models and enemy units, whilst their unit is within 6 of a model with this relic.
Yeah.
Fatal Sononacy. It is a range 12, assault d6, strength 6, AP 2, damage 1 weapon that also hits and ignores cover. I don't think it gets there. I think if this was damage 2, it would be interesting.
Yeah.
But
still, assault d6 is a bit too.
It's too random, and the fact it's essentially a slightly buffed heavy flamer. Next up, Armor of Abhorrence. Enemy units cannot fire Overwatch at a model with this relic. If a enemy unit fails a morale test whilst within 6, 1 additional model please.
That's good.
The first half, they can't have Overwatch is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The second half is terrible. So they have a Priest Relic. Once per battle, instead of chanting a prayer, a model with this relic can broadcast the Remnant of Maraviglia. Definitely pronounced that right.
Maraviglia.
Maraviglia. Until the end of the battle round, when resolving an attack made by a model in a friendly Emperor's Children unit within 6 of the model of this relic, you can re-roll the wound roll. Now that is good. I want to return old Gulliman style re-roll wound bubble. At melee and ranged, probably easier to set up with ranged by a lot, especially as Slanesh have the double tap shooting thing available to them.
Yep.
So you could have obliterators with reroll wounds, or even just cultists with reroll wounds if you wanted to. So next up is Distortion. Replaces a full sword or a power sword. It is strength user AP4 damage D3. And you can kind of turn it into a power fist. At the start of a fight phase, the bearer can look upon their reflection. Until the end of the phase, the weapon has a strength characteristic of ×2, and when resolving an attack made with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll. I think you probably just pay the points for the power fist.
Yeah.
Finally, the Raiment Revulsive.
Mm-hmm.
When resolving an attack made by a model with this relic, you can reroll a hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. And you can also reroll a charge roll.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yep. Yeah, not much more to say about that. You can pick your power fist and you can reroll hits and wounds until you're happy, basically.
Yeah.
I think that's more effective than Distortion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, slap this on a Chaos Lord with Thunderhammer or a Demon Prince just for the reroll wounds, and yeah, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping you putting on a Prince, is there?
Yeah.
Put it on a Disco Lord, but they've got quite good access to things already.
Yeah.
So that's Emperor's Children. You still have your dice?
Yep.
So, name generator. I am
God.
Paulian. Oh my word. Paulian Queridan. You are?
I'm Glabius.
Glabius.
43.
Oh.
I am Glabius, the Seeker of Pleasures.
know.
That's probably the best one you could get on there.
I don't think. I'm sorry. Oh, that is great. But finally, we end up with World Eaters.
Yeah, straight into the Warlord traits. So, first one is Slaughterborn. When an enemy character, monster, or Titanic model is destroyed as a result of an attack made by this Warlord, add 1 to this Warlord's attacks and strength characteristics. So, nothing's changed there. Same one as before. I think this is I'm pretty sure this is the one that Khan has to take if he's a Warlord. So,
And it's terrible.
Yeah.
I think you just take the generic +1 attack from the rulebook over this.
Yeah. So, number 2, Arch Slaughterer. At the start of the fight phase, add D3 to this Warlord's attacks characteristics if there are more enemy models within 3 inches of them than there are friendly models. These extra attacks last until the end of the fight phase.
I like this. I prefer this one to the Night Lord one where you had to have more models.
Yeah. Yeah, this is decent. It's much better for some type of smashy or slashy Warlord.
Yeah. When I can hit things.
Yeah, that you want to go off alone and smash things up. So.
Yeah, and even if you're sending, say, Khan with a load of berserkers, it's not that hard to keep your models outside of 3 inches with consolidation and Tarlint and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I don't think Khan could take that anyway.
Sorry, that's a good point. With the Chaos Sword.
Yeah, but you definitely want to keep people outside of an inch of Khan.
Yes, that's the question.
So number 3 is Disciple of Khorne. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by this Warlord against an enemy character, unit, or a unit that contains any models with a wounds characteristic of 5 or more, you can reroll the hit roll. You can reroll the hit roll, and you can reroll the wound roll. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we've seen this sort of thing as a couple of relics, haven't we?
Yeah.
So as a Warlord trade, it's not the one I'd choose, because I really like the next one a lot better. But in a smaller points game where you perhaps just want some sort of big smashy character, then I think this is very good.
Yeah. So next one, Violent Urgency. When an advance or charge roll is made for a friendly World Eaters unit within 6 of this Warlord, add 1 to the result.
Yeah,
so this just all round good.
This is the one I'd probably take with World Eaters.
Yeah.
Because they're typically powerful enough in combat anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So one that helps you get there and turns your charge from Deep Strike from a 9 to an 8.
Number 5, True Berserker. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon against this model, halve any damage inflicted, rounding up. It's decent.
Yeah, I think the
tanky character.
The melee restriction is a bit of a kick in the face for this one.
Yeah,
it would probably be too powerful without it, but.
So last one, number 6, Battle Lust. This Warlord can perform a heroic intervention if there are any enemy models within 6 inches instead of 3. When doing so, you can move up to 6 inches instead of 3. This Warlord always fights first in the fight phase, even if they didn't charge. If the enemy has units that have charged or have a similar ability, then alternate.
I think the problem with this is with Khorne, you want to be the one charging.
Yeah.
And I think the chances that when you're going to be heroically intervene are when you fail the 5-inch charge and they haven't moved away, typically.
They're basically all pretty, on point for World Eaters.
They help you hit things harder or help you get to a place where you can hit things harder.
So, good. So we'll move on to the stratagems. So they still get the Scorn of Sorcery for 1 CP. So use a stratagem in your opponent's psychic phase. When an enemy psychic model manifests as psychic power within 24 inches of any World Eaters units from your army, roll a d6. On a 4-up, the effects of that psychic power are negated. Yep, still really strong.
Yep.
So
yeah, as we said in our Black Templars review, this is just brilliant.
The next one is Apoplectic Frenzy. Use this stratagem during deployment when you set up a World Eaters infantry unit from your army. At the start of the first battle round, but before the first turn begins, you can move that unit Up to 9 inches, it cannot end this move within 9 of an enemy model. If both players have units that can move before the first turn begins, the player who is taking the first turn moves their unit first. Yep, decent.
Yeah. As we said, Alpha Legion have this essentially the exact same thing, and it's really good.
Skulls. Next one, Skulls for the Skull Throne. 1 CP. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when an enemy character model is destroyed as a result of an attack made with a melee weapon by a World Eater's character model from your army. Gain D3 command points.
This is just good.
Yeah, it's decent.
When it comes up, you'll feel really happy.
This one I saw on Reddit, and I thought it was quite interesting. So it's called Red Butchers. It's 2 CP. Use the stratagem before the battle. Select one World Eater's Chaos Terminators unit from your army. Add 1 to the strength characteristic of models in that unit, and the unit gains the following ability: Blood for the Blood God. This unit can fight twice in each fight phase instead of only once. You can only use the stratagem once per battle.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, this is. I think if you're playing with even a reasonable attachment of World Eaters, you always take the stratagem and you always have a 10-man Chaos Terminator unit.
Yeah.
Because because you can make them quite cheap, just by giving them chain axes and combi bolters, and then they're striking at strength 5 AP 1 twice, or you can give them a power sword or an axe or something. They're just cheap and effective.
Yeah, it's really good, and the fact that this combos well with the Warlord trait to add +1 to charges out of Deep Strike as well. Yeah, it's good. It's very good. So next one, Kill Main Burn, 1 CP. Use this stratagem in the fight phase before you consolidate with a World Eater's unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, each model in that unit can move up to 6 inches when they consolidate instead of 3.
I think my favourite thing about this stratagem is the description for it.
Kill main burn, kill main burn, kill main burn.
And I think it's somewhat ironic that if you're consolidating 6 inches, what you're probably doing is trapping a model there very well, more so. But it also means that you consider that if you've got Red Butchers or even just the regular Berserkers that can move twice, well, they can pile in and consolidate twice as it is.
Yep.
They can consolidate up to 6 inches twice. And you could theoretically spend 3 CP to attack again. You can move a huge distance in the assault phase if you've got the right setup.
Yeah, so the actual, going on what you just said, so the actual wording of the stratagem, use the stratagem of the fight phase before you consolidate with a unit until the end of the phase.
Yeah, so if you can consolidate 3 times, that's 18 inches of movement.
So next one is Wild Fury. It's 1 CP again. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when you select a World Eater's unit from your army to fight with. Until the end of that phase, improve the armor penetration characteristic of melee weapons models in that unit are equipped with by 1.
Yeah, so your 1-point chain axes, I believe they are, suddenly an AP strength +1 AP2 weapon.
Yep, it's really good. So yeah, next stratagem is Stoke the Nails, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in the fight phase again. So when a World Eater's infantry or World Eater's biker unit from your army that is not a Chaos Cultist is chosen to fight with, until the end of that phase, that unit's Death to the False Emperor ability takes effect when targeting enemy units, not just Imperium units. In addition, when targeting Imperium units, the ability takes effect on hit rolls of 5 up. So again, even more buffs to basically everything in the fight phase.
Yeah, I'm less sold on this one than the others. Extra attack on the 6 to hit.
If something needs to die and you don't think you're gonna kill it, then by all means. But I think if you probably mathed it out with the sheer number of attacks that World Eaters get on the charge now, with the other buffs, I think it is getting a little bit like too much almost, because I think that's now like the 6th stratagem that you can use on. When I say anything, I mean like Berserkers basically, because that's what we're looking at, and I guess now Chaos Terminators. Last stratagem, Blood for the Blood God. 2 CP, use this stratagem in the fight phase after an enemy unit is destroyed as the result of an attack made by a World Eater's model from your army. Until the start of your next turn, when a morale test is taken for a friendly World Eater's unit, do not roll the dice, it is automatically passed.
I'm not sold on this one.
Yeah.
The problem is with the requirement is that it's probably taking place on turn 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And on turn 2 or 3, that's not where you're most worried about losing models. It's probably turn 1, maybe turn 2.
So yeah, some pretty, well, really good stratagems for what World Eaters already do. So there's apart from the Terminators, that's like a whole new thing that you can do, which is really good.
Yeah, I like the Terminator thing. I need to try that out.
Really cool. Yeah, just all round good, I think. So far.
Nothing that radically changes them anyway.
Nothing that radically changes them, but definitely a whole heap of stuff that makes what they already do better, and also makes stuff that they had problems with better as well. So like the +1 to charges and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's the big increase for them.
Yeah. Cool. So let's go on to the relics. So the first one is Crimson Killer. Model with a plasma pistol only. This relic replaces a plasma pistol. Has the following profile: 12-inch range. It's pistol 1, strength 9, -3, flat 3 damage. When resolving an attack with this weapon, an unmodified wound roll of a 4-up inflicts a mortal wound in addition to any damage.
No, for me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big enough upgrade over a regular plasma pistol. It's +1 damage and safe.
Yeah. +1 damage, +1 strength, a mortal wound on a 4-up, and also you don't take a mortal wound on a 1.
Yeah,
I think it's good. If it was like pistol 2,
yeah,
I think it would be
pistol
really
2
good.
would be interesting. I don't think it's worthwhile as it is.
If it was pistol 2, because like your whole army's geared towards, like, if you're taking pure World Eaters, your whole army is geared towards combat. Like if it was pistol 2, you might even just pay 1 CP to take it, just for some like decent.
I'm not even sure you would then, just because with pure corn, I found a lot of times I find myself not shooting, so they can't remove models. So yeah, many things about this pistol I don't like.
This next relic, I saw a lot about on the internet.
Yeah, I like this relic.
Yeah, so it's Gorefather, and I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the. I'm pretty sure this is the axe that Angron used.
Yeah, I kind of feel it should be more. It should be stronger if that's actually the case. But yeah, this is still a good relic.
Yeah. So it replaces a chain axe, so it's a pretty cheap weapon to just get anyway. Yeah. So it's strength +2, so you're probably looking at like strength 6, because I don't think any of the characters get +1 strength like the berserkers do, though.
Sorry, excuse me.
Apart from like Khan and whatever. Yeah. So yeah, you're probably looking at a strength 6. It's -2 AP and it's flat 3 damage, which is really good. So the ability on it is when resolving an attack with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll. On an unmodified wound roll of a 6, the target suffers 3 mortal wounds. Oh, and the attack sequence ends.
This is essentially a really discounted Thunderhammer.
Yeah.
You trade off a little bit of strength and a little bit of AP, but you save yourself 39 points when doing so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like this, and you've got a chance to chuck in some mortal wounds every now and again as well.
Yeah, it's a shame it's not mortal wounds on top of normal damage.
I think that would be a bit much on a damage 3 weapon.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it would be. Although that would probably be more of a Primarch weapon. But
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. really good relic. I do feel they shouldn't have called it Gorefather, because I do feel Gorefather should just be insanely crazy nutty. But...
Yeah. I think Khan has the other one, because it is Gorefather and Gorechild.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's just it is good. So if you wanted to make a discount like Smash Lord, then have at it. It's a good weapon to do it with, and it's cheap.
Yeah, because you can make a Chaos Jump Pack Lord at, I want to say 80, 90 points.
Yeah.
And when you consider that's 80, 90 points with a weapon like this that can threaten infantry and tanks.
Yeah. Yep.
It's very good.
Yeah. And also you get the even though it's probably going to be strength 6, you've still got the benefit of like veterans and all of that stuff as well. And let's have a look. Wasn't there I thought there was a stratagem for chain weapons. No, there wasn't. It was just the increase in AP that was really good for chain axes. Yeah, so next relic is Banner of Rage. It goes on a Dark Apostle. So once per battle, at the start of the fight phase, a model with this relic can unfurl the Banner of Rage. If they do, add 1 to the attack's characteristics of models in Friendly World Eaters units, whilst their unit is within 6 of that model. So
I'm assuming this is meant to be until the end of the turn or something, because currently it's just
once per battle
until the end. It doesn't turn off currently.
Yeah. So at the moment it doesn't turn off,
which I'm sure isn't intended, and
maybe that will get FAQ'd.
But I don't quite like this. I don't like this because I don't think World Eaters need more attacks.
Yeah. So what are they getting at the moment? If you go with a Berserker, I think the optimum loadout when I sort of last was looking at them was just Chain Axe, Chainsword.
Yep.
The extra attack.
So they have 2 attacks based.
Yeah.
They get 1 extra for the Chainsword.
Yep. But you have to make that separately. So
yes. They get 1 for their Legion trait. They get 1 for when they charge.
Yeah.
And they can attack twice.
Yep. So 8.
So
it's 8
they get
attacks.
9 attacks because they don't get their Legion trait 1 on the second time they attack.
Okay. But it's okay.
And of those,
seven. So it's 7 attacks with the chain axe,
and then 2 with the sword.
2 attacks with the chainsword. So
yes,
that would bring it up to 9. That would bring it up to 9 attacks plus 2. So 9 with the chain axe and 2 with the thing.
Yeah, I don't think that extra 2 is going to be a key break point.
Yeah, which basically brings a unit of 10 up to like 110 attacks. Yeah, 110 attacks.
Whew.
So,
assuming the opponent doesn't interrupt, which they tend to when they find out what Berserkers do.
Yeah. So, I think it's really strong. I do think there becomes a point when you start really overkilling, and maybe that's it. Unless you're running like smaller units, maybe. The main issue I have with this is that Chaos don't get access to basically chaplains with jump packs.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult to keep up to actually use this, and unless you're being defensive, in which case why are you playing World Eaters?
Yeah, it's very rare you have a defensive game as well, Eaters.
Yeah, so that's the main issue I have with it. So the next one is Berserker Glaive, model with a power axe or axe of dismemberment. What is that?
Yeah.
That's the executioner. No, it's the executioner.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So it's strength +1, so strength 5, AP -2, flat 2 damage, and the ability when the bearer would lose a wound, roll 1d6 on a 5-up. That wound is not lost.
Yeah, it's a +1 damage axe that has an ability that's probably not going to come too often.
Yeah, it's solid pass on that.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's forget that one. Move on to the next one. Helm of Falor. Nope, not Falor. Helm of Faror. Infantry model only. Add 2 to the strength characteristic of a model with this relic at the start of your charge phase. If a model with this relic is within 8 of any enemy units, it must declare a charge. I like that.
I like it. It's probably a skip.
Yeah, it probably is, but it's very thematic.
I kind of feel if you're within 8 of any enemy units with a corn character, you charge anyway. But
Yeah.
I guess technically you don't have to declare the charge against the unit within 8.
Yeah.
If the unit within 8 is a bunch of plasma you don't want to charge, and there's something 12 inches away that's just got a Lasguard, you declare against them and be happy failing.
Yeah, because it is just if you're within 8 of any enemy unit, it must declare a charge. So you can declare a charge on a unit that on like one character within 12 that if you didn't even want to charge. So the last relic is Blood Hunger. When an enemy model is destroyed in the fight phase as a result of an attack made by a model with this relic, roll 1d6. On a 4-up, the model with this relic regains 1 lost wound.
The nice thing about this one is the timing, in that you might lose something wounds to Overwatch and then heal them back.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't think you pick this as a relic.
Yeah. I'm not sure what you would take as a relic, actually, to be fair. Because
I think you probably just take Gorefather and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Probably the weakest artifacts.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I mean, for me,
it's hard to know what to give a quite combat focused chapter already.
Yeah.
Because they tend to turn even mediocre weapons into quite good ones naturally, so perhaps they played it a bit safe.
Yeah, I think you would probably go with Gorefather every time. However, if you were ever able to take a Dark Apostle with a jump pack, then I think Banner of Rage would be a solid choice as well.
Yeah, if you view it as costing a CP, then
yeah,
I think that's something you'd be certainly tempted by.
Yeah, but as it stands, Banner of Rage I don't think is very good, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. So that leaves us with one final thing to do, and that's come up with a World Eater's name.
Oh, these ones look good.
So I am Mesa the Hound.
Mesa the Hound. What have I got?
Very scared of fire, apparently.
56. Oresk. And 33. So what was I? Oresk.
Yeah.
Oresk Spine Hacker.
Ow!
Yeah, the last names on the corn ones are really good.
Yeah, although I don't think we'll beat
the Hound. Doesn't beat the Seeker of Pleasures. What was it? Was it that?
Glabius, the Seeker of Pleasures. Yeah,
Seeker of Pleasures.
That's got to go in as a tag on the podcast. It's searching for Glabius, Seeker of Pleasures. Oh,
cool. So
that is finally Faith and Fury.
Yeah.
Which we definitely never intended to do in one go, and we always plan to split up into separate parts.
Yeah. So, just like overall thoughts. I know it's because we haven't actually recorded this all in one go. It's been split out into it's been about a week or so, or something like that, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Since we did the first one, but in general, I think my takeaway from the overall Space Marine rules that were released at the start. Why?
Why is a good question.
That's all I have to say about it. Just why?
Why? Cool stuff, but why?
Especially the Tech Marine with giving everything within 6 inches +1 to hit.
Oh dear. Yeah.
So, Black Templars. This is just me personally. Black Templars. I think I really liked it. I really liked their bit. I think they make a solid like overall army with the
B plus.
with
Maybe
the
A minus.
I can't remember what it was. It was either a warlord trait or a relic, but the thing that you can use at the start of any battle round, and it gives
was the relic for the 4-up invuln.
Yeah, that's really good for like if you want to take sort of like a half and half army, so you want to do some combat and have a bit of a shooty castle as well. So yeah, I really like that. And the vast majority of the chaos stuff was decent in. To me, it was decent in a representation of the
fluff.
Of the fluff, yeah, and also some of the rules are really good as well.
Yeah, I think Night Lords, Alpha Legion, probably the two biggest winners personally.
Yeah.
Although a very honourable mention for World Eater, Khorne Berserk, Terminators.
Yeah, I think World Eaters, just the fact that it was all focused around stuff that they already did. It was basically the whole section added stuff to what, if you were running a World Eaters army, you were probably doing already. It's just made what you were doing already much stronger. So that's really good. Word bearers overall not that great, but I mean,
I think they work as a specific detachment rather than as a whole army.
Yeah, the way that you can build a
was it
because they're oh no, we went over that, didn't we? I was going to talk about the Dark Apostle, but it is actually only Legion specific.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can make like a really good sorcerer.
And I'm not a bad possessed bomb either.
Yeah. Alpha Legion, I really liked Alpha Legion.
Yeah, I think they work very well either as a pure or as just as a sort of CP battalion.
Yeah.
Night Lords have got some insanely powerful stuff.
Yep, and all thematic as well. Like most of it focused around like jump pack units and charging and combat and stuff, but also like the what's it called, Vox Scream for removing the
Vox
abilities.
Your ability.
Yeah, and then locking people in combat, and yeah, really good.
Yeah, I think Armor is combined with the points dropped to Obliterators give them some really interesting, powerful options. Possibly more in the sort of Chaos Soup than Pure, but again, very powerful.
What I took away from my Iron Warriors is the Warlord traits were very good for castling, but for a specific type of castle. So you have to kind of like choose whether you're doing like demon engines or havocs or vehicles, or obliterators, or just normal vehicles with the ignoring moving heavy weapons. And then all of the stratagems are really good. I think it was the relics. I don't think the relics were that good.
Iron Warriors, they were fine. They had an axe, really, and a mild buff to combat with a +1 strength, toughness, wounds. But yeah, I think they were.
Yeah, I remember. But I mean the re-rolling wounds when targeting vehicles for 1 CP is really good. Re-rolling all of the flesh metal gun rolls for the obliterators, really good. And yeah, I like the Iron Warriors. I think the only one that I didn't have any spark of excitement out of was Emperor's Children, I think.
I think their +1 strength and damage on Sonic Blasters is very good, especially as their Emperor's Children Noise Marines are already pretty solid units.
Yeah.
The only question of that is AP dash in a marine world. But certainly,
that was the buff to the Noise Marines was really good, and I'm glad they got it because just like everyone else, it's kind of like buffed up their fluffy stuff, which is great. I just didn't feel. I felt like it was just a lot of weird stuff that actually, when it comes to it, it doesn't really do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just a bit weird. And then yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
That is everything, I think. So thank you very much for joining me, Nathan.
That's right.
It's a pleasure. We will see. Well, won't see you soon because A, it's a podcast, and B, we're recording this basically just before Christmas on the 22nd. So chances are, if you've seen this, we hope you've had a happy Christmas and are about to have or have just had a very good New Year. So we'll see you anon.
Yep.
Bye.